Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that I'm going to show you this Saturday morning is something you need to be fully aware of. We're about to walk through what CNN is putting out around swing states, the presidential election, Kamala Harris versus Donald J. Trump. This is literally everything that you need to know. And before I go too deep into this, before I even tell you to do anything else like videos, subscribe channels, hit the alarm bells, all that stuff, vote. You gotta vote. You gotta vote, vote, vote. You gotta get your friends to vote. You got your families to vote. Ignore all data that I'm showing you as it is complete hypotheticals. You have to vote. After all is said and done and everyone you know voted, then go back and look at the carnage or look at the success or look at the charts. All of it after you vote. Let this not persuade you at all not to vote. However, I am going to show you something really important. So everything will be linked. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, see what I did there, and let's get it. Oh, it's Saturday. Why would we not have some fun with it? All right. Listen, we got to talk about one of my favorite guys over at CNN who does poll analysis, Harry Enten. Now, Harry Enten is one of these little data nerds, and I really like him because I'm a data nerd too, so I can call him that. He is doing something that a lot of other people aren't doing on main networks. Listen to what he said about how tight this race is, and if the polling is wrong, and hold that thought, but if the polling is wrong, how bad this is going to go one way or the other. Check this out. You got to vote, you got to vote, you got to vote. Goodness gracious, but now let's analyze this.
My goodness gracious, could the race be any tighter in these battleground states? Look, in the Great Lakes, you got Harris by 2 in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, well within the margin of error. How about in the Sun Belt, though? It's even tighter. You got a 1-point race in Nevada favoring Kamala Harris. You got a less than 1-point race in North Carolina, Trump ahead, but we're talking about like 0.2 percentage points. Arizona, a 1-point advantage. Georgia, a 1-point advantage for Donald Trump. The race, very, very close. Now, let's just say the polls were exactly right. What does that mean for the electoral map? What would mean a really tight race? Look at the...
All right, I'm going to pause it really quickly just to tell you something for a baseline understanding. If the polls are right, and that's what he's about to go into, okay? I don't care what the polls say. Please go see the earlier statement where I said you got to vote no matter what they say. But I'm trying to give you an underlying basis and reality of what the media is clearly not giving you. Now, Harry Enten's doing a good job, but I'm going to throw some other stuff in here that I really want you to know. Let's keep going. Let me show you. He's going to show you in each scenario, then we'll break it down.
Kamala Harris getting 276 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 262, mostly on the basis of winning these Great Lake battleground states, despite the fact that Trump carries 3 of the 4 Sun Belt battleground states. But the bottom line is, Kate Baldwin and dear audience, this race is tight, tight, tight.
Now, in the realm of playing the hypotheticals.
Yes.
So let's do that.
Yes, I love those.
Comparing how, if the polling is off, if the polling is off like it was in 2020, what would that do to the electoral map?
So look at Donald Trump's electoral vote total right now, if the polls were exactly right, 262.
262.
Let's say the polls are off like they were back in 2020. Look where he goes. He goes to 312. Why is that? Because the polls underestimated Donald Trump in 2020. So the bottom line is, instead of losing those Great Lake battleground states, he wins all of them. He obviously holds on to North Carolina.
All right, so hold on real quick. So understand what I'm trying to tell you right now. Every time that Trump has been in an election, he has overperformed the polls significantly. Every single time. Now, they're about to bring up the 2022 midterms and say that that is a big outlier and cancels it all out. I'll get to that in a second. But understand, 262 is where he was at if the polls were correct. If the polls are favoring if they are not favoring Donald Trump and they're underestimating him, you're talking about an electoral college victory of 312 if he's being underestimated. This kind of goes back to that same thing I've been telling you about consistently, that if the polls are dead even or +1 or +2 for Harris, she's losing because they have to have 4 to 5 nationally. Biden right now, for example, was like +8, +9 at this point in the election in 2020. You have to understand all the different outlying factors here, and that's why I'm bringing this to you, and hopefully you guys find it useful. You can let me know in the comments. But understand, from 262 to 312, you only need 270, guys. So this would be a catastrophic outcome for the Democrats. All right, but now let me show you. He's going to do a counter here. Again, in this scenario, Trump would hold on to Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Nevada, and Arizona if they are underestimating him, which historically they've always done. All right, hold on. Let's keep going.
Georgia and Arizona, and he gains Nevada. So, if the polls are as good as they were in 2020, despite the fact that at this particular hour Donald Trump trails in enough states to give Kamala Harris the victory, if the polls are off like they were in 2020, Donald Trump would actually win the election.
There were big elections since 2020 that involved 2022 midterms. What if it was off? Then now compare it to the polling offage of 2022.
The word is discrepancy, Kate. Discrepancy.
On the 2020 polling, Aaron, believing, oh, the polls always underestimate Republicans. Not always, because
Okay, hold on. This is really important. The phrasing just changed. It was never they underestimate Republicans. It was always they estimate Donald Trump. Donald Trump was not on the ticket or ballot anything in 2022. They are going only on Republicans without the influence of Trump whatsoever. All right? That's really important to understand as we go into this. It changed from Trump to Republicans. All right? Listen to this.
look at what happens if the polls are off like they were in 2022. Well, Kamala Harris goes from losing that election to winning it with 319 electoral votes. Why? Because the polls underestimated Democrats in 2022. So Kamala Harris gets back all of these Great Lake battleground states, but she adds to her column North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada. So the bottom line is this race is way too close to call, and the past elections show us it's way too close to call because polls are a tool. They are not Nostradamus.
It is interesting to look at it in this way, though. Just reminding us all, in summary, just stand by to stand by.
Stand by to stand by. Voters make the difference, not the polls.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
All right, so what did he just say? Voters make the difference, not the polls. And that's where I'm going to really tie this back into. It's one of the main reasons I'm doing this video. I want to make sure you guys understand the state of play on the field, which they're not telling you. I want to show you how close this thing can be, and I'll show you also, I also want to energize you guys to go and vote. You have to go and vote. Because quite literally, if you can prove these polls wrong, which my gut tells me these polls are wrong because they always underestimate Donald Trump, you're looking at not only a victory, you're looking at a landslide. Now, I'm not suggesting that's going to happen. This is not me saying landslide territory. I said earlier in the video, you've got to get out and vote. Vote like you were 5 points behind. Take your friends to vote, your family to vote. Everyone in your circle of influence needs to go and vote. But you have to understand the difference of the razor-thin margin of which they are propagating is that it's going to either be 312 one way or 319 the other. You can be part of making it 312, 319, 3 whatever the red way, or you can not be involved and hope to God that it doesn't turn out that way. Guys, you gotta vote. That's why I'm doing this video. That's why I'm showing you what CNN is up to, and I'm also putting a little bug in your ear to say, holy crap, you got an opportunity here. And that's what I've got for you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.